So this morning, I get a snap at about 7 o'clock in the morning. It's from my buddy Eric. He says, "Good morning, sunshine. How's my little ketchup packet?" I said back, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Oh my gosh, that wasn't for you. That was for my girlfriend. She's on her period." He called her a ketchup packet. Hey, John, want to hear a joke?
Yep.
Little Johnny walks into a pet store, sees this parrot standing there on its perch with no legs or no feet. Little Johnny says, "I wonder what's wrong with this bird." Parrot says, "I'm defective. I was born this way." Little Johnny says, "Oh, you can understand me." He says, "Yeah, I can understand anything. I can have great conversations at length." Little Johnny says, "Well, then how come no one's taking you?" He says, "Because I'm a defective bird." Little Johnny says, "Well, how do you sit up on your perch?" He says, "Well, I kind of wrap my dick around it, and that way I can sit upright." Little Johnny says, "I'll take him." Brings him home. In the next couple weeks, it's great. They watch sports together. They talk. They have a great old time until the second week comes by, and Parrot says, "Little Johnny, I got something to tell you." Mailman came over and lifted up your wife's dress. Little Johnny said, "And then what happened?" "Well, he started rubbing up her thighs." Little Johnny said, "Then what happened?" Parrot says, "Well, he put his hand between her legs." Little Johnny says, "Then what happened?" Parrot says, "Damned if I know. My dick got hard and I fell off my perch." Little Susie says, "Little Johnny, if my right leg was breakfast and my left leg was lunch, what one would you want to eat?" Little Johnny says, "Both." She says, "Well, you can't have both." He says, "Well, come to think of it, I always prefer to snack in between meals." Hey, Ralph, you want to hear a joke?
Yep.
So, I don't know if you knew this, but little Johnny grew up and became a doctor, and he was sent down to the Amazon to check out these tribes that were down there. And once he got down, there was only men. And he said, "Well, what do you guys do to, relieve sexual tension?" And they said, "Well, meet us down by the river tomorrow and we'll let you know." So little Johnny goes down by the river the next morning. There was a donkey down there, and they looked at him and said, "Okay, you can go first." And little Johnny didn't want to break tradition, so he looked at this donkey and he started making love to this donkey and having a good old time. And after about 20 minutes, the guy said, "Well, are you about done there? Because we need that donkey to get across the river to go see the women." Hey guys, want to hear a joke?
Yeah.
So little Johnny's teacher said, "Being that it's Friday, if any one of you can answer this question, you'll be able to have off on Monday." She said, "The first question is going to be, how many blades of grass are in the schoolyard?" Well, knowing that no one can answer that question, she won and everyone had to go to school on Monday. So the next Friday comes along and she says, "All right, class, we're going to do the same thing. How many gallons of water are in the ocean?" Well, nobody could answer that question, so nobody had off on Monday. So little Johnny has a trick up his sleeves and goes home and paints a bunch of ping pong balls black. And just as the teacher's about to ask the question, he throws the balls up to the front of the class and she says, "Hey, who's the comedian with the black balls?" And little Johnny says, "Kevin Hart, I'll see you next Tuesday." Hey guys, want to hear a joke?
Yep.
Teacher says, "Little Johnny, I got a riddle for you. What building has the most stories?" Little Johnny says, "That's easy. It's the Sears Tower." She says, "Well, the correct answer is a library, but I like the way you're thinking." Little Johnny says, "All right, Teach, I got one for you. I cause pain when I go inside you. I fill your holes when you ask me to. And I also ask that you spit and do not swallow." Teacher says, "Little Johnny, you go to the principal's office." He says, "What for?" "I'm a dentist, but I like the way you're thinking." Hey, Ralph, want to hear a joke?
I sure do.
So Christmas time's coming up, so little Johnny went to the mall and he went and saw Santa and he sat on his lap and Santa says, "I know exactly what you want." Little Johnny says, "Okay, try me." The Santa goes, "TOYS, toys." Little Johnny says, "No, I got a lot of toys." He says, "Oh, okay, you want CANDY, candy." He says, "No, I got a lot of candy." He says, "All right, kid, what do you want?" Little Johnny goes on to Santa's nose. He goes, Pussy. And don't tell me you ain't got any because I can smell it all over your fingers. Hey, Ralph, want to hear a joke?
Absolutely.
So there was this kid that was standing at the street corner saying, damn fish for sale, get your damn fish here. And this guy walks up, he says, I'm a pastor, you can't speak to me that way. He says, well, I caught these over down at the local dam. He says, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So he says, yeah, give me a couple of those fish and I'll take them home to my wife and have her clean them up. So he grabs them and brings them home to his wife and says, hey, can you clean up these damn fish for me? She says, you can't speak to me that way. You're a pastor. Well, he explains to her, what was going on. And she said, okay, sounds great. So later on that night, they're got the fish all cooked up. And little Johnny comes home from college. And his dad says, hey, honey, pass me over some of that damn fish. Little Johnny looks over at him and says, hey, that's the spirit, Dad. And while you're at it, Mom, pass me some fucking potatoes. Teacher says, little Johnny, I want you to tell me a story with a moral in it. Little Johnny thinks about it. He says, okay, I got one. There's this fly that's going over this lake, and it's feeling real hot. He figures if I swoop down 6 inches, I could be cooled off by the water. Well, there's this largemouth bass that sees this, and he figures if that fly goes down 6 inches, I can jump out of the water and get it. Well, a bear sees this and figures if that fish jumps out of the water, he can grab the fish. Well, a hunter sees the bear and figures if that fly goes down, that fish jumps up, the bear goes after, he gets to shoot the bear. Well, the mouse sees that there's a sandwich in the hunter's pocket. If the hunter shoots, that sandwich is going to fall out and he's going to be able to get it. Well, a cat sees that the mouse is going to go after the sandwich. If it goes after the sandwich, the cat can get the mouse. So the fly goes down 6 inches, the bass goes after the fly, the bear goes after the bass, the hunter shoots the bear, the mouse gets the sandwich, the cat over jumps the mouse and falls in the water. Teacher says, that's great, but what's the moral? Little Johnny says the moral is every time a fly goes down 6 inches, a pussy's bound to get wet. Little Johnny gets on the bus and he sits right behind the bus driver because he's always getting in trouble. And he sits down and he's mumbling to himself and he says, well, if my dad's a bull, and my mom's a cow, well, that would make me a little bull. And if my dad is a rooster and my mom would be a hen, well, that would make me a little chick. Well, the bus driver's already sick and tired of listening to him talk, and so he says, so Johnny, what if your dad is a drunk and your mom's a whore? Well, what does that make you? Johnny smiles and he says, a bus driver. Well, Johnny goes out one night and he's all drunk, and he goes into the bathroom and he notices that there was a $1 bill in a pile of shit. He thinks to himself, oh, is it worth it just to grab $1 out of a pile of shit? He thinks for a little bit, and he takes money out of his pocket. He takes $10, and he throws it on top of the shitty $1 bill. He says, well, for $1, hell no. But for 11, I'll pick up that shit.